BT News today. The new Wales curriculum has been leaked. We're going to tune in live with one of our board members, Caitlin. Welcome, Caitlin.
Hi, sorry Alex, I'm at the seaside with the kids. Yeah, I'll be quick about this. So basically we created a new curriculum to work more around planning. COVID-19 has ruined everything. So if you tune in at 6 p.m. tonight, we did a live vodcast to talk about more about it. Okay, thank you, bye.
Thank you, Caitlin. I hope you have a wonderful time at the beach. Don't eat too many ice creams though. You hear to hear, everyone. There's a vodcast on tonight at 6. Tune in to know more. Oh, that was quick. That's everything for now. Join me tomorrow to know the truth about Boris's Christmas party. Thank you, I'm Alex, and goodbye.
Have you guys thought about how you're going to do the assignment, about how planning is managed in British primary schools?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, let's talk about it now.
Yeah.
So what is planning? Planning is a method teachers use to create a detailed description of what will be taught during the school days. This covers areas of the curriculum, but differs depending on teaching styles, students' needs and subjects. Not only is this beneficial for the students, but also to help teachers with their work.
Planning is used so teachers are aware of what needs to be done in each lesson. In Pang 2016's journal article, they state that planning is essential competence for teachers. This shows the importance of planning. By having a well-planned lesson, it helps to decrease teachers' stress levels and improve student schooling experience. Glory 2015 also implies that when teachers feel more comfortable with the lesson planning, the children are more likely to be able to learn and have a better experience within the school.
The planning sheets are a way for teachers to show how the work is done, and it differs depending on the stage of the term, and it gets detailed like the short for a week planning.
Planning is done in 3 different ways. There's short term, medium term and long term. Each one is different. The short term is just usually created for long term is usually created year by year. It's for teachers to create the whole kind of lesson plans from start of the year to the end of the year. It includes every topic that they will be delivering and how they're going to be delivering it as well. The medium term one is the academic terms, half terms, and it sets out a particular part of the curriculum that will be covered by each week. The short term plans are the plans that are usually done the most. It's set for day by day, so they'll usually do it the day before the planning's, the day before the lesson, and it's usually very little detail as well. It only includes certain things like what they're going to be doing, the topic, and maybe some kind of pretty much them. It's very little detailed.
So when aiming to improve a child's attainment through planning, a cycle will occur. So the first thing teachers need to do is assess a child. This can often take place from topic assessments or baseline tests. And basically this is to see what the children have already learned and whether they've got any gaps in their knowledge. From there, teachers will use what they've found from the assessments and plan lessons. they will have to think about a learning objective, but they will also have to make sure that children of all abilities are challenged but will still be able to reach the learning objective. They will then explore. This needs quick thinking and problem solving skills, because often or not children will use different methods or strategies, and every child learns differently, so whatever works for them should be adapted throughout the lesson. And then at the end of the lesson, a teacher will review. So this means they will reflect on the lesson, they will see what worked well, what didn't work well, and then for the next lesson, if they haven't achieved everything in the set time, they will obviously include that in later lessons. According to Asset Publishing's, planning is critical and underpins effective teaching, playing an important role in shaping a child's understanding and progression. So it's important that teachers become organised within lessons, especially with lesson planning. And if a teacher gives more time to lesson plannings, the outcomes will overall be more beneficial for children.
I want to pick up on that when you said that when they review what they have done, the teacher then goes on the planning sheets. They will then add sections on each planning sheet and explain each child's individual needs. So if a child has dyslexia or they need like an extra materials or resources, they will add that into the planning sheet. They will make sure that it's written down in case somebody else needs to have a look at that planning sheet.
To support Caitlin's point there, Einstein states that everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its capability to climb a tree, it will live the rest of his life believing that it's stupid. So therefore, that quote alone highlights the importance of creating an educational system that suits everyone. So when a teacher finds a need that a student may ascertain if they have dyslexia, then they'll need to change their type of planning to help that. Otherwise, if that planning isn't changed, they may believe then that they are stupid.
Yeah, that picture, it kind of like states that every animal in that picture needs to climb that tree, when really you need to think about more into it, and it's like not every child would be able to climb a tree, not every child would be able to do it the way one person can. So it's like everything needs to be adapted to that particular child. So, you know, when it comes to planning, it needs to be adapted to each and individual children in that class.
And then everybody's abilities need to be like made sure that it's not too easy for them to do, but they've also got an element of challenge so that they are able to progress.
Yeah.
I wanted to add on, with somebody who does suffer with dyslexia, I believe that planning does help a lot in a way. With my personal experiences in school, the teachers would always adapt the lesson to how I would learn best. So I think that's a good approach with like the fish can't climb the tree, because that's how I felt in school.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So talking about the curriculums, it's where like children can practice and learn skills that they might need in the future. For example, like when I looked at the similarities between Scotland and Northern Ireland, it talked about how they both look for confident learners, and Northern Ireland learn through numeracy, maths and numeracy, and they look at trying to get the children to talk and listen, and Scotland just focus on confident learners in general.
So in England, there's a mixture of core and foundation subjects. Core subjects include maths, English and science, whereas foundation subjects include music, drama, geography and art. It's the teacher's job that in every lesson, relevant materials should develop pupil skills. For maths, it should be taught across all subjects, and pupils are to be taught to apply arithmetic fluency to all problems. For literacy, again, it should be adapted across all subjects, and at foundation phase, children should be fluent in English. For science, children should be taught with the aim of developing scientific knowledge and conceptual understandings. Pupils should also be able to understand the natural process and methods of science. The Department of Education said that religious studies is mandatory for all ages of primary education, despite gender, ethnicity, and age. And children should also have a clear understanding of the fundamentals of computer science.
Yeah, Abby, I just wanted to add on to that with, like, you always hear people saying you learn things every single day without even realising. So with children, pupils learning with literacy in every subject, even if it's math, learning literally in English, learning math, it's going to help their development. So I think that them including everything in each subject is beneficial. Also with the RE as well, the religious education, that's also very beneficial just to their life in the future, like learning general things, and it can be very interesting as well.
Following from that point, England could be like Wales with their subjects, as Wales mainly do the same thing, and so they are both taught the same. However, the Welsh curriculum includes 4 areas of learning. When we visited the Gov website, we found that the first area of learning is enterprising, creative and contributors who are ready to play a full part in life and work. By introducing these creative learners into a classroom, it can help engage learners and improve their ability to learn cognitive skills when solving problems and creative thinking. In the 2019 blog, Teachers Who Promote Creativity, the Educational Results, it explains the importance of engaging creativity within the lessons. So having, if the children, like noticing the children is involved with Minecraft, just by putting that on their worksheets, can engage them a lot more within their lessons, so they're more happy to engage and play them. The Gov website also states about another aspect, which is to create healthy and confident individuals. This is then leads them to fulfill a healthy, valued member of the society. I found a stat from a Young Minds organisation that 1 in 6 children will experience a mental health illness, and this is a very high statistic compared to 2017, where there was 1 in 8 children would experience mental health. So therefore, like learning about healthy individuals, trying to create them type of people, will hopefully reduce this stat. And yeah, so.
Yeah, I want to follow up on where you said that by including the interests of children is very important when it comes to planning, because I'm quite happy that the Wales curriculum does that, because I know a lot don't. They just kind of focus on one subject and that's it. But if the children are interested in the topics, which really what would come down to student voice, getting the children's ideas and knowing what they like and dislike, and involving that in the planning and the process of the lesson plans and things like that, it's very important.
Another principle of the Welsh curriculum is to create ambitious, capable learners, which means that through planning you need to provide different levels of capability to challenge the children and get them ready to learn for different experiences. And then the last principle that the Welsh curriculum does is creating ethical and informed citizens of both Wales and the world, which means learning about different religions, learning about different cultures, making sure that the children know what happens in every day-to-day life.
Yeah, the Welsh curriculum also includes the Donaldson report, which plays a massive part in the curriculum. They introduce the progression steps, so this was to provide more of a basis to their learning. There's 6 purposes of this Donaldson curriculum, which mainly include health and well-being, humanities, and expressing art. So it's more of they learn through the children in that way, rather than just to sit and read from a book.
Yeah, so I had a look at Scotland, and they're looking at these like successful learners, confident learners, resourceful citizens, and it seems like instead of trying to create, well, like trying to see what the child is trying to feel, we're just trying to create like this thing about raising high standards and getting kids involved. And like Caitlin said about there being a student voice, it doesn't feel like there is that much thing about a student voice in Scotland. They just look to have, children who are successful learners, which means they're motivated and enthusiastic to learn, confident learners who are happy and productive, responsible. They want their students to like abide by the law in the future, entitled to exercise all their fundamental rights and duties, and effective contributors who develop their creativity, work cooperatively, and communicate with others. And it just never felt like there's like student voice in there at all, and that these students don't get an opinion.
Yeah, from that kind of linked to Wales. That's what Wales want their students to come out as at the end.
So I looked at Northern Ireland, and yeah, it kind of just focuses on main subjects, which are the arts, which is very popular in Northern Ireland. They do quite a lot of arty, crafty stuff. Language and literacy, mathematics and numeracy, personal development, physical education, and they also teach children about the world around them. That's like a huge subject within the Northern Ireland curriculum. And they also teach religious studies. I kind of think that the Northern Ireland curriculum links with Wales quite a bit, because they do focus on other things that involve the children, not just subjects. So not just mandatory subjects like maths, English, science. They do teach them about the world, well-being, because well-being involves with physical education. The world around us, it teaches them about life skills, all of the kind of things that involve the world, everything around them. And the arts as well. I think it's good how they keep that in mind when it comes to each subject. So they do cross-curricular activities where they will use different subjects within one subject. So for example, if they're doing maths, they will make it like artsy or like creative. They'll use different materials, like, I don't know, like finger painting or something like that. They will involve other things within one subject. Well, off that subject, COVID-19 last year, I mean, come on, that just ruined the whole curriculum completely. It just ruined planning. Like, teachers had to plan around COVID-19, and that's hard. That would be hard. Are we still all agreeing on the 4 main kind of subject, 4 main things that COVID has damaged within planning?
Yeah, I think technology was the biggest one to be affected by COVID-19, because absolutely no teachers had. I don't think that any teachers had any thought of an online lesson where children got to stay home from school to be on lessons online.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you, and like also with the technology, like it was like a whole new world for like teachers and pupils, going from having like in-person sessions to then having to go online and have so many online resources and just have it all online.
Yeah, it changed so quickly as well, because I found a statistic from a blog stated that in April 2020, Zoom announced that they hit the milestone of 300 million daily participants.
Wow.
So planning must have been done really quickly for that to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. When we first went into lockdown, nobody knew how long it was going to be for. So obviously with teachers planning and everything, nobody knew what was going to happen. So obviously being online and everything, you think some children unfortunately don't have access to computers or iPads at home.
Yeah.
So you've got to think about them and how they're going to learn. Is that going to affect their learning, their creativity? They had to think about that as well.
Yeah, I was going to pick up
Yeah.
that's quite a good point, because I was thinking, like, I know some schools and some colleges, if you want to go for the older ones, but I don't know some schools do provide technology to the children during the lockdown, but I'm pretty sure not all schools do. So it's like, what about these children who have not got no technology at all, no access to a phone, no access to a laptop? Like, what do they do when it comes to that? And then, you know, they're not involved with any indoor classes.
It also puts them on like an even playing field, because those children that do have technology are obviously going to be able to learn more from the lessons, whereas those that don't will be left behind.
Yeah, they always say that technology, everyone should have access to learning, like whenever, at home, anywhere. So for the children who didn't have that, you think how unfair it was to them, and what they think that, so they're sat at home, why is everyone else learning and I'm not?
Yeah. I mean, linking in with that, like I know a local school to me is for the children who didn't have technology. They were providing like resource packs for the children, so they were still having like the same work, but it was being like sent to their house instead of them doing it online.
On the other hand as well, because everybody's been forced to use technology within the school environment, it does mean that teachers have learned a new skill that will obviously become useful in the future as technology does get more big and people use it more often. And the same for children. They've also learned how to use things like Zoom, which obviously they wouldn't have known how to use before. So, I mean, there are some positives, but overall, obviously, it's been very difficult.
Yeah. On that note, let's go to outdoor environment. Like, again, COVID, you know, during lockdown, it stopped so many people gathering in one space. So children in the class had to be split. So usually it's like, 32 children in one class. They had to be split to 15 children in one class. So they were split from their friends. They were in smaller groups. And that itself is quite a challenge for children that age, because, you know, they're used to going to school, seeing everybody or their friends, but then they're not, because most of their friends are going to be coming in the afternoon instead of the morning. So with outdoor environment, most lessons have been going outside, because we have to stay outside because of COVID, you know, can't social distance and things like that. So a lot of lessons have been going outside, and like forest school planned a lot of things around forest school, and also like having windows open in classes as well, so it's like bringing the environment indoors. It's quite a big thing.
Well, that links with like the group work as well, because like you said, is it meant they had to be put in smaller groups, and like they had to like practice social distancing, so they might have like gone from having 8 children sat round a table to only having 4. But yeah, for like young kids it's so hard because they just don't like understand you've got to stay away from other people, and they just like want to be with their friends, they want to like interact with people.
It's also like limited their social skills as well, because they haven't been able to like thoroughly learn communication, how to make friends, how to deal with situations. I personally think assessment's been the most hindered because of COVID. Obviously, for planning, assessment is very important, because you can't plan without assessing children, and because they've been cancelled, teachers have not really known what to do with planning, because how are you supposed to know from COVID, especially with the new year coming and new children coming into school, especially lower ages? How can you plan a lesson that's going to be beneficial for children if you don't know what they're capable of? According to the National Education Union, because of the cancellation of assessments during COVID-19, children have shown stress among students, a reduction in motivation and or long-term impact on the pupils' academic progress. So from this, it also shows that stress and uncertainty of whether assessments will be carried out has had a massive effect on well-being.
Yeah. So the other day we all gathered up together. We've spoken about if we were to create our own curriculum, these would be the 4 main principles. Are we still all agreeing?
Yeah.
Yeah. The 4 principles that we chose is student voice, safeguarding of pupils, well-being of students, and creative and confident creators. I do think that those need to be enhanced more within the curriculum.
Yeah, definitely.
You go first.
Our 4 curriculums, we decided to ask a few teachers and students to get their opinion.
What would you like to see as part of a new curriculum? I think it's important to have a dramatic arts represented more. Every child is good at something and they need their opportunity to shine. Do you believe that there is enough emphasis placed on safeguarding within the current curriculum? I think it's appropriate at the moment. Children are taught about online safety and how to keep themselves safe. However, the world is changing so fast, I think it does need to be reviewed and changed accordingly. Do you think that currently there is enough emphasis placed on well-being in the curriculum? I think at the moment it's not given enough priority. There is so much in the curriculum, it's hard to find that time to actually do a well-being session. There's certainly professional staff are aware of the well-being of children and they are catered for. We've got ELSA trained teaching assistants and so on, but more resources need to be available. And finally, do you believe that currently creativity is promoted through the curriculum? No, I don't. For example, I mean, you may only do 1 or 2 art activities in the entire year, so you can't do a fair assessment on that. But it also promotes well-being, fine motor skills. It's a really important opportunity for those children to showcase what they can do, that's their strength. What is it that you would like to do different in school?
I like to help the teacher plan different things each day.
Is there anything else that you would like to do in school?
I would like to go and adventure more outside and learn about different things in the wild.
Okay.
In the new curriculum, I would like to see more well-being lessons. In cooking, I would like to be taught how to cook healthy nutritious snacks.
Yeah, so student voice is very important to involve within the curriculum. Getting a teaching assistant, which is great because it's Abby's mum, to have her opinion, and also children that are involved within, in primary education now, that they are in the foundation phase, getting their opinion on what they want to see within the curriculum has helped us a lot to try and figure out that, student voice is very important to add. As you can see, there's a quote from Policy 2016. The benefits of student voice increases students' engagement, improves relationships between pupils and teachers, better communication, and helps the school to provide the correct resources and equipment. That I totally agree, because, by having student voice, teachers then can plan their lessons correct for the students themselves. They can turn around and say what subjects they want to learn about, what they would like to see within the lessons. Like, for example, last year in my placement, they had 3 topics to choose out of: animals, space, and I think it was like water, so like sea and stuff like that. They chose animals. The majority was animals, and of course all children love animals. So lessons were planned around animals and they got to get involved with it. They created their own zoo as a group, as the whole class, they created a huge map of their own zoo, and each child had each sections. So I feel like student voice is a huge part that needs to be more enhanced within the curriculum.
Yeah, I agree, Caitlin. You always want children to be interactive and interested when teaching and them learning. So using stuff they're interested in can easily help them learn and interact with what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that links back to my point as well about putting little stickers on the sheet. Interest them a little bit more in what you're learning.
Yeah. The next one's safeguarding.
Yeah, so I had a look at that, and yeah, there was some stats on it that really shocked me. Like, for example, 1 person out of 10 has been neglected in the UK, and I just feel that with COVID and stuff now, that's probably still on the rise, as well as like mental health. And I feel like a lot of these people really need to be counselled and stuff. I need to be like spoken to, and
like schools have policies and procedures in place to ensure that like all the staff know what happens if there is a case. They also need to have staff training so that the staff know what's going on, and they need to like liaise with other like people who could be involved. But they could also provide resources such as like books about different topics of neglect. They could use it in the role play area, and like the NSPCC created a video about like your body belongs to you.
Yeah.
This is Pantosaurus. He's going to help us with our song about pants. What's in your pants belongs only to you. Your pants cover up your private parts. Your private parts belong only to you. If someone asks to see, just tell them no.
So yeah, like using like resources like that show kids that like they have a choice, and that goes back to the student voices. They have a choice in what happens. They have a say.
Yeah. By learning about that point as well, some children may be being abused, but because it's their norm at home, by learning about it then in school, they'll probably think like, well, that's not right.
Some children do use school as an escape from whatever's going on at home, friends and family.
Yeah, some children feel like school is then their safe place. That links then closely to the well-being of students. Because I read a book, it's the well-being curriculum, sorry, by Cowley, and he explains many different aspects of the well-being. The first aspect he explained was the healthy choices. And from that, I had a little look into the statistics of eating disorders, because many children will grow up with an eating disorder from just little innocent sayings.
Yeah.
And I found out that I think it was 1 in 6 will like develop an eating disorder, and you can develop it from as young as the age of 6.
Right, guys, I think we need to wrap this up a little bit. Should we go quickly in the next one?
Yeah.
So, creative and confident individual, that's also important. It needs to be enhanced within the curriculum. I don't know if any of you have any ideas on how we can enhance that into the curriculum in planning.
Yeah, I think having more like art subjects and just having more creative like outlets, like doing more music lessons, doing more like drama lessons, using the role play area.
I definitely think like the use of role play for assessments is good, because not only does it provide teachers with what they can do to plan, but it also improves communication skills, drama skills. It's not just like a one-based activity.
Yeah.
Children benefit from that as well. Some children will do better in assessments rather than writing.
Yeah. Yeah. So the reason why we added these 4 new principles within our curriculum is because we think that they were not shown as they should be within the curriculums that are in the UK. They need to be more enhanced. So they need to be shown more, like safeguarding, where Alex picked up on, you know, with counselling and things like that. Children are not aware of that at a young age. They're not aware that there is resources out there that can help them to talk about things that they want to talk about. So these 4 main focuses that we have talked about need to be more enhanced, and that is why we have added this into our curriculum.
Well, thanks for talking today, everybody.
Yeah, no, it's been great talking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. See you next week.